Stanley, Scuba, Sailing, and Adventures. I appreciate you being here with me to log an entry in the travel journal. If this is your first time, please hit that subscribe button. Today we'll be riding Colorado's Pikes Peak Cog Railway to the summit. As the train begins to move, we're starting at the Manitou Depot in Manitou Springs, just west of Colorado Springs. Within minutes, we'll begin a steady climb that gains nearly 8,000 feet in elevation. This isn't a normal train, it's a cog railway, designed specifically to climb steep grades that ordinary trains simply cannot manage. There are a few mountains in the United States that carry as much history, symbolism, and sheer presence as Pikes Peak. Rising to 14,115 feet above sea level, it stands as one of Colorado's most famous 14ers, visible for miles across the plain. The Pikes Peak Cog Railway first opened in 1891. It was the idea of Zalman Simmons, the founder of the Simmons Mattress Company. He visited Pikes Peak in 1888. After reaching the summit by mule, he reportedly decided there had to be a better way up the mountain. He financed the construction of a railway using a European rack-and-pinion system, specifically the Apt system, developed by the Swiss engineer Roman Apt. Instead of relying only on friction between wheels and rails, the train uses a central toothed rack rail. A cogwheel underneath the train locks into that rack, allowing it to climb steep grades safely and steadily. Construction began in 1889. Workers faced extreme weather, high winds, snow, and limited access. Yet by June 1891, the railway officially opened to passengers. It was the highest cog railway in the world at the time, and it remains the highest in North America. For more than 130 years, this railway has carried millions of passengers to the summit. Steam locomotives ran the line for decades before eventually being replaced by diesel-powered trains. In 2021, after a major reconstruction and modernization project, the railway reopened with new Swiss-built trains, updated track, and improved safety systems. But the heart of the system, the rack rail in the center, remains true to its original engineering concept. As we move higher, notice how steady the ascent feels. The average grade is around 12%, and in some places it reaches 25%. That's far steeper than conventional railroads, which typically operate on grades of 2 to 3%. The cog system allows the train to climb these slopes without slipping, even in snow and ice. Looking out the windows, we're entering the montane zone, the lower forested slopes of the mountain. Here you'll see ponderosa pine and Douglas fir dominating the landscape. Wildlife in this zone can include mule deer, elk, black bears, and numerous bird species. Pikes Peak is part of the Front Range of the Rocky Mountains. Geologically, it's primarily composed of Pikes Peak granite, a pinkish granite formed about 1 billion years ago during the Precambrian period. The massive granite outcrops and boulder fields you see along the way are remnants of that ancient formation. Eventually, when we pass 10,000 feet, the forest will begin to thin, and this transition will mark the move into the subalpine zone. Trees there grow shorter and more twisted, shaped by the wind and cold temperatures. You may notice Engelmann spruce and subalpine fir becoming more common. The air will also begin to change. At sea level, atmospheric pressure averages about 14.7 pounds per square inch. Up there, that pressure steadily drops. By the time we reach the summit at 14,115 feet, the air pressure will be roughly 60% of what it is at sea level. That means there is less oxygen available with every breath. You may notice mild shortness of breath, lightheadedness, or fatigue, all normal responses to altitude. Staying hydrated and moving slowly helps a great deal. Around 11,500 to 12,000 feet, we'll approach the timberline, the elevation where trees can no longer grow due to harsh environmental conditions. Above that point, temperatures are colder year-round. Winds are stronger. The growing season is extremely short. The soil is thin and often frozen much of the year. Beyond the timberline, the landscape becomes alpine tundra. The alpine tundra is fragile and slow-growing. Many alpine plants take decades to mature, and some are specially adapted to survive freezing temperatures, intense ultraviolet radiation, and strong winds. You'll notice low-growing vegetation hugging the ground, cushion plants, and hardy alpine wildflowers in summer months. And at the top, the summit appears barren and exposed. Pikes Peak has long held cultural importance. Long before European American explorers arrived, indigenous people lived in and traveled through this region. The mountain gained national recognition after the 1806 expedition of Zebulon Pike, for whom it is named. Although Pike never successfully reached the summit, his exploration helped draw attention to the region. In 1858, during the Colorado Gold Rush, the slogan, "Pikes Peak or Bust," became widely used by prospectors heading west. Later, in 1893, Catherine Lee Bates visited the summit and was inspired to write the poem that would become America the Beautiful. She described the view from the peak as expansive and breathtaking, and that sentiment still resonates today. The summit offers views across the Great Plains to the east and deep into the Rocky Mountains to the west. Pikes Peak is known for sudden and dramatic weather changes. Even in summer, temperatures at the summit can be 30 to 40 degrees cooler than at the base. Afternoon thunderstorms are common. Lightning is a serious hazard at this elevation. Winds frequently exceed 50 miles an hour, and hurricane-force gusts have been recorded. The mountain has also been the site of meteorological research for decades, with a weather station operating near the summit since the late 19th century. Because of these conditions, visitors are always advised to dress in layers, regardless of the season. When we climb the final stretch, you'll notice the terrain becoming increasingly rocky and sparse. At 14,115 feet, we are well above the level where trees can survive. The summit building, newly constructed in 2021, was designed to withstand extreme wind, snow loads, and temperature fluctuations. Its architecture blends into the environment and provides shelter while minimizing environmental impact. Stepping off the train, you'll want to take a moment to move slowly. Give your body time to adjust. On a clear day, visibility can extend over 100 miles. At the summit, the plains stretch toward Kansas. To the west, you can see layers of the Rocky Mountains, peaks, ridges, valleys, carved by millions of years of uplift and erosion. The elevation here makes the sky appear a deep blue. That's because the thinner atmosphere scatters light differently than at lower elevations. You'll be standing on one of Colorado's 58 14ers, mountains exceeding 14,000 feet in elevation. And you will have reached it by one of the most historic mountain railways in the world. final thoughts? The Pikes Peak Cog Railway represents more than transportation. It represents 19th century engineering ambition. It represents access, making a summit that once required days of travel accessible in under an hour. And it connects visitors with both natural history and American cultural history. From ancient granite to alpine tundra, from gold rush dreams to national poetry, this mountain carries layers of story. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.